Look, these guys were shocked. Look, these guys were the country. Look, these guys were shocked when they saw this strange footprint on the beach. They were scared and really wanted to know who or what it belonged to. One of them guessed it was Bigfoot, while another was sure it was Godzilla. But when they finally saw the real owner of the footprint, they were completely shocked. You won't believe who it was. But first, if you think my cat is super cute, give this video a like and subscribe. Now, my other kitty just came over to see who has liked and subscribed. If you still haven't done it, be careful because it will keep staring at you until you do. So go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe, and leave your favorite emoji in the comments so this angry kitty can be happy again. Now look, the footprint belonged to this guy. The country that deep fries almost everything is the United States. The country where the food feels like a punishment is the United Kingdom. The country that eats fish so raw it feels like even the fish's tongue would go numb is Japan. The country famous for eating huge amounts of sausages is Germany. The country where people eat rice 2 or 3 times a day is India. The country that turned bread into a weapon is France. The country that seems to drink olive oil like water is Greece. And the country that's said to eat almost anything is China. And you'll have to eat this kitten unless you like and subscribe.
This AI creates.
Look, when this boy saw his bed moving in a strange way, he rushed into the room and started pulling off the blankets because he wanted to see what was hiding underneath. At first, he thought a person was under there, but when he looked closer, he realized it was shaking in a weird way that didn't look human at all. So he kept pulling off the blankets, and when he finally removed the very last one, he was completely shocked by what he saw. I'll show you. But first, if you think my cat is super cute, give this video a like and subscribe. Now, my other kitty just came over to see who has liked and subscribed. If you still haven't done it, be careful because it will keep staring at you until you do. So go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and leave your favorite emoji in the comments so this angry kitty can be happy again. Now look, it was actually just his brother. Look, when this boy saw, as soon as this guy tried this fruit, his expression changed completely. But since he wanted to play a prank on his girlfriend, he pretended it tasted delicious, and despite the bad taste, he ate it again. He then passed it to his friend, who also noticed the unpleasantness, but played along. In the end, when his girlfriend stuffed the whole fruit into her mouth, it was too late to realize she'd fallen for his trick, and you'll have to eat it as well unless you like and subscribe. This guy was painting a wine bottle when suddenly the bottle falls into the container of hot paint, and in the process he burns his hand. Trying to fix it, he uses a pair of pliers to get the bottle out, but the pliers also fall into the paint. Freaked out, the man starts to worry, fearing that his boss will fire him for the accident. However, he eventually manages to get both the bottle and the pliers out with the help of a wooden stick, solving the problem just in time. But you'll have to stick your hand in there unless you like and subscribe. This woman was enjoying her ice cream when her son started crying because he wanted some too. However, the boy had a cough, so she didn't want to give it to him. Then she had an idea. She cut a small piece of ice cream, put it on a stick, and used the paper at the bottom to hold it. When she gave it to him, the boy was immediately happy, and she'll give you one as well if you like and subscribe. When this girl went to bed after a very tiring day at work, she realized she had forgotten to turn off the light. She decided to use a laser to get her cats to turn off the light, and to her surprise, her cats understood the message they had been given, but now she'll tell them to attack those who forgot to like and subscribe. This guy found a cockroach while cleaning his dad's old boat, but instead of sending it to meet its maker, he decided to keep it as a pet for a day and give it the best time ever. But what happened next might shock you.
Shining through to make those rainbows in my mind.
It will now go into the pillows of those who forgot to like and subscribe. Many schools in the US are serving chocolate milk without labels. This has confused students because the cartons used to have labels. People are saying the company is either doing this to save money or because it wants to hide its ingredients. Anyway, everyone knows how unhealthy school meals are. Sometimes the milk expires and turns into a solid block, and other times it becomes thick like slime. And the most shocking part is that even after this, schools are still serving the milk and the FDA still hasn't said anything. And you'll have to drink it unless you like and subscribe.
Don't worry about it, it's chill.
Why are Marines so afraid of this candy that they'd rather go hungry during deployment than eat it? Back in the 1990s, military ready-to-eat meal packs started including a candy called Charm. Over time, many Marines began believing that anyone who ate one would have terrible luck afterward. Each flavor even developed its own superstition. Lemon was said to cause vehicle breakdowns, lime supposedly brought unexpected rain, and raspberry was believed to mean someone wouldn't make it back. The superstition spread so quickly that in 2007, Charms candy was permanently removed from military meal packs, and you'll have to eat it unless you like and subscribe. Never make the same mistake as this boy. He was sitting in the car eating a sausage when suddenly his dad slammed on the brakes. At that moment, the boy started screaming, making everyone think he had hurt himself. Even his mom was scared. But soon the boy started laughing, and by showing his cheek, he revealed that the toothpick was fake. But the real thing will happen to those who forgot to like and subscribe. If you ever go to China, don't make the mistake of riding this cable car, because as soon as it arrives, this woman pushes a little girl into the cable car. Then when the cable car gets close to this other girl, she gets on as well. At that moment, the lady quickly closes the cable car door, leaving the little girl sitting there scared. But you'll have to go on here unless you like and subscribe. If you stick a stick in the ground and rub another stick over it, worms will soon emerge. This method, called worm grunting, is used by fishermen to obtain bait. The vibrations created mimic the sound of rain, causing the worms to rise to the surface as they associate moisture with a safe environment to move around. And it'll now crawl to the homes of those who forgot to like and subscribe.
If you want to know what you
Don't mistake this car for a garbage truck just because of its exterior appearance, because inside it is totally different. If a thief tries to steal it, he won't be able to do so easily, since turning it on requires several steps, including entering a security code. But only those who aren't thieves can like and subscribe. When this little boy saw the rainbow, he didn't make a wish like everyone else. He decided to climb on it instead. During class, the teacher asked the students to lift a large piece of fabric as if they were inflating a giant balloon. Together, they raised it until it became colorful like a rainbow. But then one boy couldn't resist and started climbing on top of it as if he wanted to reach the clouds themselves, but he was expelled just like those who forgot to like and subscribe. When this man turned one of humanity's most difficult jobs into such an art form that he got to work on structures most people can only dream of. This is Charlie, a stonemason who carves stone with such precision and control that he looks more like an artist. In this work, even a tiny mistake can ruin hours of effort, but his control over stone is so exceptional that his skills earned him the opportunity to work on historic landmarks like the Cologne Cathedral, and you will now have to destroy his work unless you like and subscribe. This little boy had something stuck in his nose for several days, making it very difficult for him to breathe. His worried mother decided to use a special device. As soon as she placed it in his nose and pressed the plunger, a large amount of mucus immediately came out, making his breathing easier, but you'll have to eat his boogies unless you like and subscribe. As soon as the mosquitoes start biting the child, mom and dad take down the bed, spread a mosquito net, and then put it back up. But when everyone realizes that they were doing this just to protect the child from mosquitoes, they appreciated their parents more. And if you love yours, then like and subscribe.
As a health coach and
A mechanic went to a junkyard to look for a project vehicle. There he found 3 Lamborghini Murcielagos stored in a storage room that had been damaged by flooding. 2 of the cars could be repaired, but parts had already been removed from the 3rd one. He bought the 2 cars for about $295,000 and spent $300,000 on new parts to restore them. Later, he auctioned each car for $1.3 million, and that car is now yours if you like and subscribe. This man built an entire miniature model of New York City where everything was realistic, but even then he felt like something was missing. Then he suddenly remembered phosphorescent paint and carefully painted the outlines of all the streets and buildings so that only those would glow in the dark. Once everything had dried, he turned off the lights and charged the paint with a UV light, and slowly the entire city began to glow. And you will now become miniature unless you like and subscribe.
Okay, class.
In 2014, Kinder launched an event called Become the New Face of Kinder, where people could have any face of their choice printed on a Kinder package. Kinder wanted to replace the face of its famous child mascot, so the company created a website where people could upload their photos and votes. But people flooded the system with bizarre memes, photos of Will Smith, Barack Obama, and even Adolf Hitler. The company realized that using any of those faces could get them into trouble, so now you will be the new face if you like and subscribe. How do coat painters never get trapped in the middle, even though it looks impossible to get out because such a tiny space is left as they keep painting? The secret is that as they paint, they slowly keep moving backward. Then when the paint reaches the final section, they make a small jump out without ruining the fresh paint, and you'll now slip on the paint unless you like and subscribe.
How was your day with?
Watching this video, it looks like people are being tortured, but the truth is, everyone here pays to take part in it. This is called 90 breathwork therapy, where people wear headphones and blindfolds while listening to a special sound. At the same time, they do intense breathing exercises to quiet the mind and go into a deep mental state. During this therapy, emotions that have been buried for years begin to surface, and sometimes people cry so intensely that the staff have to help calm them down. But all of this is considered completely normal because those suppressed emotions are being released, and you will now be sad forever unless you like and subscribe. This animal that looks like a wet rat is actually a chinchilla. Its fur is so dense that water gets trapped inside and doesn't dry properly, which can lead to fungal infections or make it catch a cold. That's why chinchillas should never be bathed with water. Instead, they clean themselves by rolling in dust, which absorbs both the oils and dirt from their fur, and you'll now have to bathe like it forever unless you like and subscribe.
Every family has different needs.
Popping the pimples on this tree could save someone's life. Inside these bumps is a thick liquid called Canada Balsam. It kills bacteria almost instantly and hardens as it dries. So if you apply it to a wound, it works much like a bandage, and you'll now never get to use it unless you like and subscribe. When a hippo is sleeping in the water, it occasionally lifts its head above the surface to breathe and then goes back underwater. Although hippos spend most of their time in the water, they aren't actually built for it because they can't really swim and can't hold their breath underwater for more than 5 minutes. That's why there is also a risk of drowning. They also do not have sweat glands, and you will now be trapped with the hippo unless you like and subscribe. When you scratch a kangaroo, it freezes for a moment and leans toward you, enjoying it. Baby kangaroos are very delicate and calm, and they mostly prefer staying in their mother's pouch. They get so used to being there that they sometimes crawl into a bag or even into a person's arms. But once they grow up, their muscles become so powerful that they always seem to be in the mood to fight, and one will now attack you unless you like and subscribe. In 2023, an airless basketball went quite viral. It was made from 3D printed plastic and looked really cool. When it was shown to everyone during All-Star Weekend, people went crazy over it. Everyone said that its bounce and feel were just like a normal basketball. But when players actually tried it, it turned out that it wasn't as comfortable or as good as expected, and your basketball will now explode unless you like and subscribe.
Free Robux websites below.
If you sprinkle a little fresh water on a manatee, it will immediately turn toward you because it desperately needs fresh water. It doesn't care where it comes from, it just wants fresh water. People think manatees only drink seawater, but their bodies can't process salt very well. That's why they can't survive without access to fresh water. Because of this, people sometimes offer them fresh water, and you'll now have to give them salt water unless you like and subscribe. This is the Crochet Ginger, whose real name is Jasmine Christian, and she made a giant plush toy that looks like the streamer Kai Cenat. It was her biggest project to date, and it has now gone quite viral. First, she spent 9 hours making its head, which weighed around 7 kilograms. Then she spent 14 hours making its body, but later realized that the body's height was too short. So she rebuilt the body, and after 25 hours, the body was finally finished, weighing about 36 kilograms. After that, she added the arms, facial features, and curly hair, which took 42 hours. Then it took 35 hours to make the hoodie, headphones, and legs, and 28 hours to make the big duck. Finally, she wrapped it up and sent it to Kai Cenat. It weighed around 82 kilograms, and the entire project took a total of 140 hours to complete, and you will now be trapped inside it unless you like and subscribe.
This is one of the coolest apps around.
I don't know why, but people have suddenly started putting edible glitter in pickles and eating it right away. All the stores are getting bought out of glitter, and people are adding it to their food. It has gone so far that people are making glitter chicken wings, glitter pasta, and even glitter pizza. Everyone is adding more and more glitter to everything, but they don't realize that eating too much edible glitter can cause stomach pain and vomiting. And if you think you can just take medicine for it, people are even putting glitter on their medicine and eating that too. And you'll have to eat it unless you like and subscribe. I don't know, sometimes the small babies you see in movies that don't seem real are actually reborn dolls. The artist paints a simple dummy layer by layer with so much detail until its skin looks like that of a real newborn baby. Then each individual hair is added one by one to give it a soft texture, and these babies will now haunt those who don't like and subscribe. This guy is so talented that he can finish an entire bottle in one go within just a few seconds. Known as Sparkling Jup, he has a unique way of opening bottles and drinking them that's incredibly satisfying to watch. Give him any drink and he'll finish it in a single gulp, even a 1.5 liter bottle, which he downs effortlessly in just a few seconds, but he'll now drink the moms of those who forgot to like and subscribe. This guy is so talented that he can finish an entire bottle in one go. As soon as you put this lollipop in your mouth, it starts acting like a speaker and plays music. They're called musical lollipops, and they use bone conduction technology to produce sound. When you press the button at the bottom and place the lollipop in your mouth, it creates vibrations. Those vibrations travel through your teeth directly to your inner ears, allowing you to hear the music without wearing earphones. And if you want to try it, then like and subscribe.
My world's so bright. It's hard.
When people keep touching the same spot on a statue over and over again, signs of wear become clearly visible in that area. Often, people touch statues in places where they really shouldn't, as you can see on this statue of Cristiano Ronaldo and the famous Molly Malone statue. But things aren't always that inappropriate, because on almost every dog statue, the nose gets petted so many times that it starts to shine, and you will now become a statue unless you like and subscribe. When people keep touching the same spot on a statue over and over again, signs of wear become clearly visible in that area. Often, people touch statues in places where they really shouldn't, as you can see. Never make the mistake of living in inflatable houses made in China. Otherwise, it could fly away. These houses are made from a special plastic, and to keep them standing, air has to be continuously pumped into them. But these houses are not very useful because due to being lightweight, they start shaking even in a light breeze, and if strong winds blow, they can even fly away, and your house will now fly away unless you like and subscribe.
Mírala, toda la familia.
Never get a nose piercing without knowing this, otherwise it could end up causing you trouble. Many people have noticed that over time their piercing starts sinking into the skin or even seems to disappear completely. Because of this, some people have to push their jewelry back out so the piercing becomes visible again. This happens because during the healing process, new tissue starts growing around the jewelry, and this will be you next unless you like and subscribe. Have you ever noticed how some magicians seem to float in midair? People say it's because their arms are extremely strong, but the real trick is something else. If you look closely, you'll notice that one of their hands is always resting on the cart, and the cart is never empty. It contains heavy objects that help maintain balance, and the hand that appears to be in the air is actually attached to a hidden metal support connected to the cart, which supports their entire body weight, and you'll now float away unless you like and subscribe. In 2023, AMC Theaters introduced an offer called Bring Your Own Bucket Day, but customers took it a little too seriously. According to the offer, you could bring a container of any size and fill it with popcorn for just $5. The only condition was that your bucket had to fit through the opening at the counter. But people didn't pay much attention to the rules and showed up with bizarre containers like trash cans, laundry baskets, and even coolers. One person even brought such a huge bucket that it took 2 employees to lift it. People took advantage of the deal so much that theaters across the country ended up running out of popcorn, and you'll never be able to eat popcorn again unless you like and subscribe. In 2023, there is a cafe in Japan where you can become a little kid for a day. In fact, the cafe is called the Child Perspective Cafe. Everything there is oversized so you can experience what it's like to be a Japanese child. Before eating, you have to put your shoes and slippers in lockers just like little kids do. And the amazing part is that the tables, chairs, and even the food and drinks are made larger so you can experience what it feels like to be a small child. And you'll now be a baby forever unless you like and subscribe. This lane is considered so bad that even runners are afraid of it. It's lane 8, which is the outermost lane on the track. The runner in lane 8 starts the race the farthest ahead, so while running, they can't really see anyone else, making it feel isolated and almost lonely. However, some people actually like lane 8 because they can run their own race without paying attention to anyone else. In fact, the 400-meter world record was also broken in lane 8. But most runners prefer the middle lanes because they can see the runners beside them and know when to slow down and when to speed up, and you'll never win a race again unless you like and subscribe. Cheetos launched a competition in 2016 where people could submit photos of their coolest Cheetos shapes. For 10 weeks, people voted for their favorite shape, and each week, the entry with the most votes won $1,000. At the end of the 10 weeks, those 10 weekly winners competed against each other for the grand prize of $50,000. Cheetos even created a proper museum where the top 10 winning Cheetos were put on display. The Cheeto that won the grand prize was the one shaped like a house cat, and now your Cheetos bag will be empty unless you like and subscribe.
Answer is no.
Taylor Swift appears to dive on stage during every show, but she isn't actually jumping into water. She jumps onto a padded mat below the stage, then quickly removes part of her outfit while moving forward and climbs onto a cart that takes her backstage. At the same time, swimming visuals and sound effects are played on the stage, making the audience think she is swimming underneath the stage, and you will now be stuck under the stage unless you like and subscribe. What happens inside expired Doritos? You probably can't even imagine. When chip packets are left open for too long, they start absorbing moisture. Because of this, tiny insects and mites can begin to grow inside them. When the chips were examined under a microscope, it turned out that the insects were so small that they were impossible to see with the naked eye. And your Doritos will now have spiders unless you like and subscribe.
Okay, you guys tagged me and said this girl.
A company called Heinz released a transparent ketchup in 2000 that didn't look like ketchup at all. The company marketed it as a fun and creative twist for kids, but customers were immediately confused. Many people complained that it was too sweet and that it was missing the tomato flavor everyone loved. The backlash from fans was so strong that Heinz quickly removed the product from store shelves, and you will now never be able to eat ketchup again unless you like and subscribe. In 2006, a man opened a Mars bar chocolate wrapper and noticed that the signature ripples and the wavy textures on top were completely missing. He immediately took a photo and posted it online, where it went somewhat viral. Out of curiosity, he wrote a letter to the owner of Mars bar asking how the chocolate could be so smooth. However, the company avoided answering his question and did not discuss its manufacturing process. Instead, they sent him a $2 voucher which could be used to buy 2 more Mars bar chocolates, and you'll now never be able to eat chocolate again unless you like and subscribe.
Blue first.
The secret recipe for Raising Cane's sauce has supposedly been leaked, and everyone is rushing to their kitchens to make it because people say it's the best sauce in the world. Whenever people asked online what was in the sauce, Raising Cane's would refuse to reveal the recipe. But one day, an employee who was angry with the manager allegedly posted the secret recipe online. Even then, people didn't believe the recipe because the ingredients seemed too ordinary. But when people tried making it, they said the taste was exactly the same. And here's the recipe that took the internet by storm, and you will never be able to eat chicken again unless you like and subscribe. These tights look completely normal at first, but the twist is that they have realistic hair-like designs that make them look just like real skin. Women mainly wear them for 2 reasons. First, they help keep them warm while still allowing them to wear skirts. Second, they help conceal scars and skin imperfections, so most people don't even notice, and your skin will now start burning unless you like and subscribe. People are getting very angry after learning about so-called fake foods, and it's driving everyone crazy. One girl melted a Hershey's chocolate bar and it turned rubbery. Many videos of bread have also gone viral, showing loaves that don't break like normal bread, but instead bend like a sponge. On top of that, many food items are now being made with the help of 3D printing technology. These days, it's hard to tell whether the food you're buying is real or fake before you purchase it, and your food will now be fake unless you like and subscribe. When horses get tired from standing for long periods, they sometimes lie down on the ground to rest. Although horses usually sleep and rest while standing, if a horse is ready to lie down, it means it trusts you completely, and if it is lying on the ground, it also means it feels very safe in that place, and the horse will now attack you unless you like and subscribe. This aquarium is specially designed for tuna fish so they can stay alive. It is built in a circular shape so the fish can keep swimming continuously without hitting the walls or stopping. That's because, unlike most other fish, tuna cannot stop swimming. They must keep moving continuously so that water keeps flowing over their gills, allowing them to breathe, and they will now drown unless you like and subscribe. This is what happens when an average person tries to match the world record marathon pace. Most people can't keep up for long and become exhausted very quickly. Even professional runners push themselves to the limit on this treadmill and still couldn't maintain the speed. Then one runner set out to prove it could be done. He kept up that exact pace for 2 straight hours and eventually became the first person to complete a marathon in under 2 hours. And you will now fall while racing him unless you like and subscribe.
You know, the Bible doesn't say that drinking alcohol.
If you think a cat wagging its tail means it's happy, think again. It might be about to pounce on you. If a cat's tail is slightly curved, it usually means it's relaxed and open to interacting with you. If the cat is slowly swishing its tail, it means it's focused on something, such as a sound, movement, or potential prey. But if the tail is twitching or snapping back and forth sharply, that's a sign the cat is irritated or angry, and it's best to give it some space, and your cat will now become your enemy unless you like and subscribe. If you ever rescue a bird, don't give it water directly. In birds, the passages for breathing and eating are very close to each other. That's why, if water is given the wrong way, it can enter the lungs, which can be life-threatening. And when it opens its mouth, it is not asking for water, but for food. So the correct way is to wet its beak with a dropper, and it will safely start drinking water on its own, and it will now drop fecal matter on you unless you like and subscribe.
Do you want someone to chat with?
If you ever see a hole like this, clean it immediately because what you find underneath could change your entire life. This is called a bedrock pothole, which forms over many years as tiny drops of water keep falling on the same spot. Over the years, small grains of sand and pebbles carried by rivers get trapped inside it. That's why people carefully stir it so that the heavier minerals settle to the bottom. Then, the fine sand is removed into a pan, and the gold is separated from it, and you will now never find gold unless you like and subscribe. A fox's tail is extremely sensitive. When you gently stroke it, the fox may make unusual vocal sounds in response. If the fox continues to allow it, the sensation can appear enjoyable. In general, foxes are very protective of their tails, and usually only allow trusted companions or mates to touch them. So if a fox willingly lets you touch its tail, it can be a sign that it feels especially comfortable and trusts you, but the fox will now attack you unless you like and subscribe.
If you make at least
Never make the mistake of cutting a parrot's wings. These days, some people forcibly catch parrots and cut their wings with scissors, but they don't realize that this can be very dangerous because there are blood vessels inside the wings, and if one is accidentally cut, it can cause severe bleeding. Also, a parrot's wings are not just for flying, they also help regulate its body temperature and provide balance, and you will now have to cut a bird's wings unless you like and subscribe. When your pet hedgehog scratches you with the same paw it just used to scratch its back, it's not trying to annoy you. It may simply be mixing its scent with yours. Hedgehogs rely heavily on their sense of smell to recognize people, and when they become comfortable with you, your scent becomes a familiar part of their world. So if your hedgehog gently scratches you with its paw,
This is a woman's poem.
imagine you somehow got the chance to touch a MotoGP bike. Would you be able to ride it like a normal motorcycle? The answer is no. Unlike regular motorcycles, MotoGP bikes don't have a Kickstarter or a self-start button. Instead, they require a special roller starter to get the engine running. But even if you somehow managed to start one, you still wouldn't be able to ride it properly. That's because MotoGP tires are designed to work at extremely high speeds and temperatures. At low speeds, they provide very little grip, making the bike unstable and much more likely to tip over than ride smoothly, and you will now crash in one unless you like and subscribe. Imagine never eat this Japanese matcha ice cream without knowing the proper way to eat it, or you might regret it immediately. In Japan, there's a famous matcha ice cream topped with an extremely thick layer of matcha powder, making it look like a little green mountain. But if you take a big bite, the loose matcha powder can go straight into your throat, making you start coughing right away. Ironically, that's exactly why this ice cream went viral, and trying it has become a popular experience for tourists from all over the world, and you will now choke on one unless you like and subscribe. Never eat this Japanese matcha ice cream without knowing the proper way to eat it, or you might regret it immediately. In Japan, there's a famous matcha ice cream topped with an extremely thick layer of matcha powder, making it look like a little green mountain. But if you take a big bite, the loose matcha powder can go straight into your throat, making you start coughing right away. Ironically, that's exactly why this ice cream went viral, and trying it has become a popular experience for tourists from all over the world, and you will now choke on one unless you like and subscribe.
The more time that you spend.
This is the only plant that can turn even a fierce lion into a gentle house. When scientists discovered its active compound, nepetalactone, they originally thought it could be used to make mosquito repellent because it's much more effective than many conventional repellents. But they later discovered something surprising. Nepetalactone acts like a biological key for cats. When cats smell catnip, the compound activates receptors in their sensory system, triggering brain pathways that can produce feelings of pleasure and excitement. This is why many cats start rolling around, rubbing against the plant, or acting unusually playful after smelling it. And a lion will now be in your room unless you like and subscribe. This is the Why are small children afraid to touch grass? Do they know something that we don't? You may have seen videos where parents hold their babies over the grass, and the babies almost always try to avoid touching it. If their feet accidentally touch the grass, they often start crying. You might think they're afraid of insects hiding in the grass, but the real reason is much simpler. Babies are used to hard indoor floors. When they step on grass, the tiny blades create an unfamiliar prickly sensation that feels uncomfortable to them, causing them to cry, and you will now feel it unless you like and subscribe. Why are small children afraid to touch grass? Do they know? Why do athletes bite their gold medals? Most people think they do it to check whether the medal is made of real gold, but there's actually a crazy reason behind it. In the past, people would bite gold to test its authenticity because pure gold is soft enough to show teeth marks. However, modern Olympic gold medals are not made entirely of gold, but athletes still bite their medals because it has become an iconic pose for taking pictures, and your teeth will now break unless you like and subscribe. Why do athletes bite their gold medals? Why do some flight attendants wrap the water bottle label over the cap? It may look a little strange, but there's a reason behind it. During a flight change, the increase in pressure can cause tension to build up inside sealed water bottles. That's why some flight attendants secure the bottle's label over the cap before handing it to passengers. Otherwise, if the bottle is opened too quickly, the built-up pressure can cause water to spray everywhere, and your water bottle will now explode, unless you like and subscribe. Why do some flight
Warning.
Thousands of people returned Disney's Mickey Mouse soap dispenser because they thought they had received a defective product. The foam from this dispenser was supposed to come out in the shape of Mickey Mouse's head, but it wasn't forming properly. After that, many people returned it and filed online complaints. Later, it was discovered that the problem wasn't with the dispenser at all. People simply didn't read the instructions properly. They only needed to remove the protective seal and place their hands slightly closer. Then the foam came out in a perfect Mickey shape, and they'll give one to those who forgot to like and subscribe. Thousands of people returned Disney's Seeing CT scans of animals feels sad, but it can also be a little funny. For example, hamsters are wrapped up like a tiny mummy with only their heads sticking out, and capybaras are completely chill. Turtles are taped onto plastic while their necks stick out, and lions are fully sedated as a team carefully places them on the machine. And our dog brother here is still having a great time even during this. But all these animals will go to the homes of those who forgot to like and subscribe.
Don't worry about it, it's chill.
That's why food should not be served like this, because this is a hotel where all the waiters serve food on skates instead of walking. But today was this poor guy's first day, so he slipped and all the hot food fell on him, which even burned his hand. But on the second day, he tried bringing food on skates again, and he became a master at skating. But he'll spill food on those who forgot to like and subscribe. That's why when you sit on this bike pedal, the skeleton sitting beside you also begins to pedal. That's because your bicycle's chain is connected to the skeleton's bicycle chain. So every time you pedal, it pedals too, showing children how the bones inside their body move while riding a bicycle. But you'll become the skeleton unless you like and subscribe.
Stay with me.
This is why cats make less of a mess than dogs when they drink water. Dogs drink by scooping water into their mouths with their tongues. That's why water usually ends up everywhere. Cats do something completely different. Their tongues never actually scoop the water. Instead, they lightly touch the surface and pull back instantly. That creates a tiny column of water that shoots upward. Then the cat catches it before gravity pulls it back down. But if you have a tongue, like and subscribe. Did you know that in the old days, toilets were built sticking out from the walls of castles so that the person sitting inside could line themselves up with the hole and let their waste fall straight down into a ditch below? Where there were no ditches, workers had to clean out the waste by hand. But these toilets had one major problem. Sometimes enemies would climb up with spears and thrust them through the toilet hole, fatally attacking the person sitting above. And they'll do the same to those who forgot to like and subscribe. Did you know that in the old days, toilets were built sticking? Why do people spit out Vegemite the first time they try it? Vegemite is one of Australia's most popular spreads, but first-time eaters often find it strange. It's slightly bitter, extremely salty, and tastes a bit like very concentrated soy sauce. Australians grow up eating it, so they genuinely enjoy the flavor. The trick is to spread only a very thin layer on buttered toast. If you use too much, the taste becomes overwhelmingly strong, but you'll have to eat it unless you like and subscribe. In 1980, people in China used this steel wool to close rat holes, but with time it would rust away and the rats would chew through it with their teeth and go back inside. But in the year 2000, people started using this expanding foam. It looked like it had completely sealed the hole, but the rats would easily chew through this soft foam with their teeth and go back inside. But now, in 2026, people in China use this type of wall repair paste, which becomes completely hard after being applied over the hole, and the rat cannot even get through it. So it'll go to the homes of those who forgot to like and subscribe.
I slip a phone into her bag.
This man has a suspicious nest on the side of his head, so he went to the barber for help, and this happened. It turns out a dangerous spider did this, and it will be in the house of everyone who doesn't like and subscribe. This milk packet was harder to open than defusing a bomb. These were triangular milk cartons from the Soviet Union that looked like small pyramids. They were created because they used less material and could be produced quickly. However, they had no cap. To pour the milk, you had to cut off one of the corners, which often caused the milk to spill everywhere, and on those who forgot to like and subscribe. This milk pack